Today, I'm taking the double feature challenge and picking my top 5.
Welcome back, sir. All systems for gaming will be prepared in a few minutes. For now, feel free to grab a cup of coffee and have a good day.
Hey everyone, Mike here. Welcome back to the Marvel Man Cave. And today we're going to talk about double features. I was watching a video over at B-Dub's Movie Hub the other day, and he was talking about double features, and he was taking the challenge from Huck's Pop Culture Cafe. I will link to both of those videos down below. Please check them out. And I thought it was a fun little challenge. The idea is to pick two movies, obviously, but that did not have a third or a fourth or anything in the series. So for whatever reason, you had the original, you had the sequel, and then they stopped. If you're watching today's video, please drop your top 5 of double features in the comments below, or if you do a video, link me to it and I'd love to check it out. So I'm going to cheat just a little bit because I'm going to do my top 5, but I'm also going to do 2 honorable mentions. So I'm going to start out, because I'm a child of the 80s, with Short Circuit and Short Circuit 2. These movies have stuck with me my entire life. I would absolutely love a Johnny 5 little maquette on my shelf. Beautiful. This movie, I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of funny how many movies Steve Guttenberg was in the 80s. I mean, the guy was king of the 80s movies, between all the Police Academies, Short Circuit, Cocoon, and I know I'm forgetting a ton, but he was everywhere. But the star of this movie, and I would say Short Circuit 2, outside of Johnny 5 himself, was Fisher Stevens. For me, Fisher Stevens was hilarious in both these movies, and Guttenberg did not return, but they brought Fisher Stevens and he took the lead role in Short Circuit 2. And I haven't seen either of these for a good while, but I picked them both up on Blu-ray in the last few months. You probably saw them in one of my haul videos, but I've definitely been waiting because my wife has wanted to watch at least the first one again. So I've been kind of waiting for an opportunity when we could both sit down and kind of tuck in and watch these. But these are 2 of my favorite movies from the 80s and really enjoy them. And if you haven't seen them, they're hilarious. With my number 4, I'm going a little bit of a different route than I saw in some of the other ones, because I'm going with Monsters, Inc. and Monsters University.
You're not supposed to name it. Once you name it, you start getting attached to it.
I cannot count how many times I've watched Monsters, Inc. It is one of my favorite Pixar movies. I absolutely love it. And Monsters University is, I thought, a completely different idea than this one. It obviously is not a sequel, more of a prequel to this one. So I guess it would be in this order that, if you were watching them in watch order, that they would come out. But I thought it was a clever take of the backstory of Mike and Sully without trampling on the story that they finished with at the end of Monsters, Inc. Because I know there's ideas that they could do something where Boo's all grown up and stuff like that. But I thought this movie is just about perfect. And so I really like the idea that they took them back to college, and it gave them a lot to play with, because it's interesting, like, how do they become scarers, and the relationship and dynamic between Mike and Sully as they were younger and things like that. I just thought it was a really clever movie, and I really enjoyed it. So my number 4 is Monsters, Inc. and Monsters University. My number 3, and honestly, this is a hard one because my top 3 I could put in any order. I'm just ranking them because you're putting them in an order. But it is going to be It and It Chapter 2. I love these movies. It is really, I love the book. I read the book years ago. I really enjoy the original movie with Tim Rice that came out. But these movies with the Andy Muschietti directing and Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, and the cast in general, both the kids cast and the adults cast, I thought were perfect. I mean, you talk about getting adults who, I mean, legitimately look like these kids could grow into the adult versions. I mean, it's pretty close. But, I thought they did a fantastic job of casting. The writing was excellent. I watched both of these every Halloween season. They are probably among the first movies that I put in when Halloween season rolls around. And I even got my wife to watch the very first It a couple years ago. And I remember last year she was asking, she was like, when are we going to watch it? Because usually during the Halloween season, we allow one another, each week we pick, like, all right, this is your week for a scary movie. And she tends to pick a little bit more, I would say, family friendly fare. And I pick stuff like this. So she asked me if we were going to watch It again but I think we ended up watching It Chapter 2 because she hadn't seen it, but then she was like, we got to watch the first one again because it had been a year since she had seen it. So even my wife, who doesn't like scary movies, enjoyed this movie. Number 2 on my list is Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
Watch the birdie.
Now, I know a couple of the people that I think that I saw do the videos, they weren't including these because they felt that there was a third one coming, but I'm taking the challenge at face value because nothing in Hollywood is guaranteed. I mean, we never thought we were getting another Top Gun movie, so I'm not counting, holding my breath that we're getting a Top Gun 3 anytime soon, although I could see it happening. But these movies are, I would say, just about perfect. Like, no notes, nothing that I would correct about them. The funny thing is, when Top Gun Maverick came out, I skipped it in theaters. I remember seeing the trailers and be like, oh, it looks good, but I just thought it was going to be a cash grab. Wasn't going to have much meat to it. I was like, they're just trying to recycle that nostalgia from the 80s. And the first one's perfect. Honestly, I said I didn't really need it. And it didn't help that my brother went and saw it. And my brother and I tend not to agree on movies, I would say 90% of the time. Like, something he thinks is great, I think is in. And he was raving about Top Gun Maverick. He talked about it all the time. And to be perfectly honest, that made me even less likely to see it. So I skipped it entirely in theaters. But when it came out, I bought it on digital. And man, I really regret not seeing it in theaters. I would have loved to have seen this in IMAX. It sounds great on my home sound system, but I really kind of do regret not seeing it in theaters. If they ever re-release it back in theaters, I'm definitely going to go to check this out because I just think it is phenomenal, phenomenal movie that in some cases it doesn't tread on the original Top Gun at all, and it does a great job of kind of following along with at least some of those characters as they've grown and advanced over the years, and just kind of building in that world. I thought it was great. Like, I've watched this movie probably like 10 or 15 times since it came out. Maybe I'm trying to make up for not seeing it in theaters. So I'm going to do one of my honorable mentions now, and I don't have the physical version of the other one, but it is Get Shorty, and I would say the sequel, Be Cool, and Be Cool stars Vince Vaughn.
E.g., from now on, you start showing me the proper fucking respect.
E.g. means for example. What I think you want to say is i.e.
And it's just a good, funny set of movies. I read the books. I got into a real big Elmore Leonard phase. Sometime after Jackie Brown came up, I was devouring all the Elmore Leonard books, and I ended up reading these before I saw the movies. And obviously the books are better, but Get Shorty is top notch. It is hilarious. I mean, you got John Travolta, Danny DeVito, Gene Hackman, Rene Russo, and I know there's a couple other people in here who I'm not thinking off the top of my head, but it's got a fantastic cast, and honestly, it's just funny. I think Dennis Farina is in this movie as well. I can't see without my glasses on the back, but I'm thinking Dennis Farina is in this movie as well. It has got a great cast. It is hilarious. It is sharp. It is witty. Be Cool is a solid sequel. It doesn't really rise to the level of Get Shorty, but it is quite an enjoyable movie. I haven't gotten it on Blu-ray yet just because it's one of those movies I haven't seen when I've been out on the hunt. And I think it's one of those, like, I feel like I should be able to find it at some point. So I'm just kind of keep holding out that I'll find that. But yeah, Get Shorty, I would definitely recommend. But it does have a sequel that didn't do well in theaters and most people might not have heard of, and it's called Be Cool. My next honorable mention, I'll admit, probably breaks all the rules of the double features, but in my mind, these movies go together like peanut butter and jelly. And it is my favorite movie of all time, Swingers, and the movie Sideways. And the second I saw Sideways, and I remember seeing it in theaters when it first came out, the first movie I thought about was Swingers.
They want to drink Merlot. We're drinking Merlot.
Oh, no, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving.
Because in my head, I can see Mikey have totally grown up to become Paul Giamatti's character. And definitely Thomas Hayden Church is Trent, just in an older body. Like, these movies are both hilarious. And this is like the 20-year-old version of An Early Life Crisis. And Sideways is the middle-aged dude's midlife crisis movie. These movies go together perfectly. And like I said, in my head, these are movies that just they're meant to be together. If I owned my own movie theater and I was doing a double feature, these would be ones I would definitely be showing. But my number one, and again, 1, 2, and 3, they could be transposed in any order and I'd be okay with it. But I opted for Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2.
I'm a bouncer in a titty bar, Bill.
These movies, I know originally Quentin had the idea that he wanted to release The Whole Bloody Affair, which I guess is running in theaters, his theater in Los Angeles, but I'm not going to be able to get there anytime soon to watch it. But the studios asked that he separate the movies into two because it would have been too long a runtime. And to be perfectly honest, I kind of tend to agree because I find that the vibe of these two movies are different enough. This one, Kill Bill Volume 1, definitely feels more like a samurai movie or a kung fu movie from, the 60s or 70s. Volume 2 feels like a spaghetti western to me. The movies feel distinct enough that I can put them on in a hotel room and immediately I know which one I'm watching. Granted, I've seen probably both these movies like 50 times because you can't watch Volume 1 and then not immediately roll into Volume 2. At least I can't. So I know these originally were meant to be kind of one movie and they get shown like that, but they were two different movies and released at two different times. I'm putting them as a double feature, and this is going to be my favorite double feature of all time. Like I said, I debated. It was either this was going to be number 2 and Top Gun was going to be number 1. I decided to flip literally before I hit record on the video. But these are my top 5 double features of all time. I have a lot of honorable mentions. I could put Grumpy and Grumpier Old Men in there, and I know there's other ones that I'm just not thinking of off the top of my head that would definitely be included. But it's kind of rare, one of those things where Hollywood finds a hit enough to do a sequel, and generally if the sequel is good, they'll do a third one. But it's very rare that they just like you get 2 hits or something like that and then they just stop, because if there's anything Hollywood loves, it's money. So it's surprising whenever you get 2 movies, unless it's something like this where it's written as a 2-parter kind of thing, or it's like Top Gun Maverick where they revisit it like 40 years later. But I would love to hear from you in the comments below. What are your favorite double features? How do you agree with the order that I put mine in? And if you've seen Swingers and Sideways and you have a different opinion on whether those 2 movies go together, I'd love to hear that as well. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. And as always, collect what you love.